Hello and welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Sunday special, right?
Love a Sunday special. We're deep in cuffing season. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's, definitely having feeling my age has been kind of coming over me a little bit.
Physically or emotionally?
Physically, I'm at the top of my game. Emotionally, like you go, I guess it's funny because we were talking on the big anniversary episode where I gave you your gift.
By the time this episode airs, you will have had your gift as well.
I will report to the audience when I receive it. We were talking about how this is the hardest thing people deal with. People might be listening. They got everything else figured out except this dating thing, and I've had that.
You feel that these days?
This is the first time I've ever felt that, where I'm like, how am I not cracking this code? Mm-hmm. And I think for men, that's happens later in life. I think it's normal as far as I think, we mentioned like men getting the one that got away feeling more than women do. It all makes sense to me because you get to you're just not thinking of these things seriously as much earlier on.
Yeah. So now you're thinking about it seriously.
I think I have been the last year.
Do you have like a dating goal in mind?
I've never thought of dating that way. I guess I am a little directionless.
Right. I mean, it kind of, if you think about it, you have goals for other parts of your life, right? And I feel like for a lot of men, it's like kind of like you said, like, what are you looking for? Like, we'll see.
Right.
Right. But I feel like most people don't approach the other aspects of their life that way. If I was like, what do you want from your career? I think you could easily name like 3 goals.
Right.
Right. Or if I said, what's your ideal body weight? Like, what's
everyone has a number in mind. Yeah.
Or other aspects. So I think that might be helpful.
It might be. Yeah, I think so. I guess I get caught up with we tried the Monday date thing.
Yes.
Where I was going on dates every Monday. That took a negative turn of I was just drinking on a Monday. It's like it's a little much. I don't know. I guess you more and more you get these what am I even looking for if I haven't come across it already?
Yeah. Well,
that's a little bit frustrating.
I can totally see that where you're kind of like, okay, at this point, you're probably like, I don't know that I know what I'm looking for because I haven't felt it.
Right. Am I looking in the wrong places? Am I distracting myself? Am I doing and I think that's why people come to this podcast. Am I doing the right things? Mm-hmm. Am I being too picky? Am I being too much? Am I not doing the things enough? Should I be on the dating? I'm on the dating app and I am not taking it seriously at all. It is a distraction more than anything else at this point.
Do you ever feel like if you took someone that you were at a 6 or 7 out of 10 with, and I know you don't think of it like that,
sure.
But let's say you did, and you just went all in, you could really like them.
I've thought about that as far as just go all in, just be in a relationship. And
because I just feel like you could be in a relationship with so many different people that you've been.
But then here's the fear I have, and this is where I have a little bit of where I get frustrated, and I think is this is probably the part of me that I should go to therapy for.
Okay.
Where you're I feel like I'm avoiding having to go through another breakup of sorts. I'm I feel like I'm I can't do the ending again. I can't do I could go through a breakup at 27. I can't do, and I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking this, where you go through a breakup and then you go, I am not taking that hike up the mountain again. And I almost avoid the whole hike to not have to go back down the mountain of another breakup. And that's even, to me, I know that's crazy because you're like, I'm looking so far ahead that I'm looking to the end. The horrific ending occurs to me more than any possible beautiful outcome. Whatever, you know?
Right.
So that is on my mind. Like even you're always like encouraging me and I appreciate it, but you're like, go on the second date. Something, and you say that to me a lot, and I'm always like, I could do that. I you know, and
but you don't.
But I don't.
Right.
And a lot of times I don't because I'm like, it's almost like you're never gonna have 100%. You know, on our benefits episode that's gonna come out, we're gonna put together like a list of sorts.
Yes.
And it's like you're not gonna get that whole list. And it's like I don't think I'm asking for that whole list. And I don't think, and again, I'm trying to speak for a lot of people that are single out there because I think that this is a relatable feeling that I'm trying to explain of this. Like, I don't believe I'm picky.
Okay.
But obviously I'm being a little ticky-tacky when it comes to like who I'll venture on the second date with, hypothetically.
I wouldn't even call it picky. Because I think picky is like, I'll only go out with this specific kind of person.
Right.
And I feel like you do go out with a wide range of people. And almost if you were picky, it would make more sense if you just went out with, we went on a second date with like one that fit your very specific criteria, but you don't really go on a second date with anyone. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I wouldn't call that picky. I think it's like a fear-based thing, kind of like you're talking about.
Right.
Where there's some sort of internal fear of having to reject someone further down the line and them being really angry at you and then you feeling really bad about that.
Right. And a lot of that is built in ego. Like, I know anyone that I don't end up with is going to be fine. Well, like realistically, but I also know here's where the ego comes in. This might sound bad, but I think this has to do with, this is a lot of men out there that maybe someone's dealing with. I think I offer a fun ride for someone.
Sure.
like, you know, I get along with my family. You know, I got
good catch.
I think I do. I think for whoever's into me, I do think there's a catch to me. And listen,
that's good. Yeah,
that's my confidence speaking. And I think everyone out there's a catch to someone.
Yes.
I know the type that would, if someone likes me, they're gonna love me. I do think that.
Don't fall in love with me, kid. Right,
you say that to me all the time.
Yeah.
And that's my problem too. Right? Because I'm like, you know, like I have a, you know, and I think this happens with like older guys too. Like as you cross into like I like what I do for a living. Like you're not, you know, I have hard days and I have bad days, but then you have days that, you know, as I went over yesterday, like Jerry Seinfeld says a compliment to me. And it's like, I'm walking on clouds. Yeah. And I like what I do. I like the adventure of it. There's always something new on the horizon. There's places to travel. There's things to do. I'm more confident in it now than I was even 2 years ago. You know, like as far as like, this is the rest of my life.
Confidence in yourself as a dater, as a catch.
As a comedian, career-wise.
Okay,
I think and that's a first for me. Like I wasn't as confident when I was, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Do I want more? Of course. But like, you know, but as far, and then like I get along, like I have like friends that I don't see going anywhere, you know.
And that makes you feel good.
I like that.
Right.
You know, and I that makes me feel good. I have friends that I could introduce to someone new and they'd be like, holy shit, like this is a fun group. You know, they would be invited in and hugged into that group. It wouldn't be like, I got to introduce you to this friend that's going to fucking suck. Like I think they would enjoy that. So that I think of that and I'm like, I'm more aware of opening up that world to people.
Okay.
Is something I'm like now holding back on. Because then
introducing people you know to other people you know, people you're dating to other people you know,
and family and friends, and because I'm pretty open with that stuff when I start with someone.
Okay, and now you're not.
And now I'm like so afraid of opening that world to someone because it gets because then it becomes, and I know I shouldn't do that. Like in the past, I've been like, yeah, I'll talk about my family openly. Like I'll talk about my friends openly. Oh, come, we're at the bar. We're hanging out. Oh, come to this show. Come to this place. I'm open with that very early on.
Okay.
And it gives me no chance to go, I got to reel it back. Okay. Does that make sense?
Right. You're saying you're more hesitant to do things that imply or it's getting towards a relationship than you were before, which is good.
And which is good. But then that also like, it's almost like a pendulum swing. So now I'm like holding back so much that I won't even do the second date.
Right. I think the second date thing is like almost the pinnacle of the issue here. Like we need to get you on second dates.
Yeah. I think that's a part of it.
Because I just don't believe that with all the women that you go out with, that there's no one that you would have that should progress to a second date.
I agree with you. I agree. This isn't their problem. This isn't about them.
Or even the match.
It's not. It's a me issue. This is an issue that I individually am running into. And it's like and again, like we talked about the evolution of this podcast. This is a new issue.
Right. I almost feel like the best thing for you would be to like you date someone that you really like and they just dump you, so that you can feel like it happens to people and it's, they get over it. And
I do need a good dumping.
Yeah. I mean, and you need it's
taste my own medicine.
No, there is also a sense of first dates for you are unlimited, which is a great problem to have. A lot of people are probably really jealous of that
Sure.
You can just they flow extremely freely. Many people are interested in going out with you. And I do think there's some sense, especially for men, because I just think it's a lot harder to date as a woman a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. With the intentions being different, that you are only as loyal as your options, and you have a lot of options. So there's no real push to pick.
Right. Right. There's no like, I got to go on the second date because there'll be no second date.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like what if someone told you that once you hit 40, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to have a child? What if someone told you? What if someone told you that?
It would change some things. Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. I'd be like, I'd have to rethink my whole life. Like, it's like the Hugh Hefner thing. Like Hugh Hefner, like I remember he broke up with one of his
girlfriends.
Well, and I did a tweet like, he said he's too busy for a relationship. Like, or he said he's going to settle down soon. Like, yeah, guys are 25 forever.
Right.
Their mindset wise, yeah.
But maybe that's not I'm saying if that wasn't the case for you, like let's say.
Well, what you're saying is true because I saw an old dad with a young kid the other day and he looked so disheveled and not able to do it that I was like,
a lot of energy,
oh, fuck, I'm going to be old. And that was actually said to me in a breakup before that you are going to be do you want to be an old dad? And I was like, can you imagine if I ever said that to a woman that broke up with me?
Mom.
You want to be an old mom? I want to be a mama grandma?
Yeah, it would be like, it's more painful because for women, that's not really a choice.
Right. But
it's a lot. You have to jump through a lot more hoops to get there.
Right. We talked about geriatric pregnancy at 35.
Right.
The minute you turn 35, you're geriatric. But I did see that old guy with the young baby. Maybe it was his grandkid, but I was like, fuck. I did have that thought.
Right.
And I started counting on the fingers. You're like, I'm 37 now. If I got in a relationship today, I'd be,
working your way back. And again, that's not to like scare you, but I do think that I don't know. I think that you have all the time in the world, and that's probably making you not do anything. Or like if it's not this person, it'll be someone else, which is a nice way to think in dating in terms of if you're on the opposite end of the pendulum. If you're a super anxious dater, they could use a dose of that, a dose of
you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine. There's other people that you're going to meet. You don't have to get so hung up on this one person that's all you think about. And if you feel like if it doesn't work out, it's the end of the world. You're on the other end of the spectrum of like, it's almost like I think it's too disposed. Like I know that I'm too confident that there's someone else that's going to come along.
There's also the risk factor. I think a lot of male risk, and this might sound, I don't know how this sounds. whatever. my life, I can afford everything I want and do anything I want right now.
Okay.
Getting into a relationship creates risk. It doesn't. I'm protected against risk right now. A relationship, a family, moving on with life creates risk. And I think a lot of men think this way. Like, I
mean, you could marry someone who also has their own money.
This isn't even about their own money. This isn't even about money. This is about feeling good about your place in life.
Okay.
Okay, let's say tomorrow I get married and then we have 2 kids and then you go move to the suburbs and now career stalls. Things are not okay.
You're worried about how someone holding you back.
Well, you're much more mobile as an individual than you are as a family.
Okay.
And then you go, well, now I can't do the things that I would want.
So to bring it back to the list.
Sure.
Something on your list, extremely important, flexibility with my work schedule.
Absolutely.
Very open to the hours that I keep and very encouraging of me pursuing new projects. To me, that's like, great. Now you have something you're looking for.
That's fair. I agree. I guess my point was more that a family and kids and the house in the suburbs shouldn't be seen as a problem, but it is the lifestyle I lead now where.
Well, it's not a problem inherently. It's a problem if the other person is not wants to be with someone who's home all the time.
Mm. Well, yeah.
Right? Like what? It's not inherent. Why is it a problem inherently?
I'm saying living is easy when the only person that you can disappoint is you.
Sure.
I can only disappoint me. Okay. And that's a lot easier way to go than disappointing. Person who hitched their wagon to you, not even financially, just like in a life,
okay.
Waste, as far as their timing is concerned and they're wanting to move forward into things and, and then in the future, children and things like that, you see a lot of men that aren't in that phase that they're like, fuck, I buttoned up the shirt wrong.
Like they picked the wrong person?
Picked the wrong lifestyle for what they wanted. And they're like, this is it.
Sure. But
I've made my bed. This is it.
I could see that. But those people are probably younger and kind of like just continued to date someone they were dating. That's not how you're dating, though.
Sure. Yeah. But I think this weighs on people. Especially when you're going from like single to like, I do know that like, and this goes back to opening up my world to people. I do know that like, I truly believe that the person I go on a second date with is probably the person I would go on a 10th and 12th and 3-month and 10-month with.
That's good.
At this age.
Yes.
Right? I don't think I could say that 25. But that's scary too. Like you meet all these people, like I think this happens to a lot of people like in their 30s, they go, what else do I have to know at this point? You go, oh, if we've been together a month, I know this person. I'm there's not much for me to seek out, so I think that scares me a little bit.
So it's a fear of commitment? Sounds like
overall, yeah, but
right.
It's also a fear of like, this is going to move quick.
Why is that bad?
It's not if it's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And if it's wrong, it won't move that quick.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, if I'm not looking to move quick, then I don't move at all. That's why the idea of like, just go on the second date, see how it is. I'm like, if the first one didn't convince me, what do I need the second one for?
But none of them that's what I'm saying.
I know.
I think that's just a way you're evaluating the first date. Well, I think once we have the list,
this is why you become a subscriber, people.
We're doing the list. By the time this comes out, I'm not sure if it'll be out yet, but
I mean, if you liked what we just talked
Yeah.
about, this is as much a You Up With Benefits episode.
Yes, as close as you're gonna get
This
without
is-
paying the
Right.
real deal.
Right. Because, yeah, I didn't expect us to go this way.
I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation. I think we're getting closer to
Every day.
to where we need to be.
Yeah, I guess we are, but I mean, even saying these things out loud, I hope people connect with this feeling that I'm putting out there.
Well, I think they do and they don't. I'm sure like it's different unless there's older men listening.
Older?
Older, not 25-year-old men.
Right. I think we
I think
have
a lot
those
of women
people.
are probably like I can only imagine what it would be to be in a position where I can go out with this many people and they're interested in me and I have to dump them all. Like it's like to these people listening, they're probably like
That's an
this is-
exaggeration, by
I
the
mean,
way.
I'm saying
Yeah.
people listening, it's like, oh, your life is The Bachelor. Like, you know, it's just an endless stream of people vying to be second date.
It's not that glamorous, but I do understand there's someone that's like, I can't get a match on the apps that's listening. I do think that I think a lot of people might be listening with their significant other in the car and they're looking at their boyfriend tightening their grip on the wheel, going with a little sweat dripping down their brow, being like, yeah, he's saying a lot of the fears that I had or that I have currently.
Yeah.
And that's why, this show is good and uncomfortable.
Right. I get it's hard because there's no like, it's not like there's a test of like, this is it or this is not it. And it can all seem very subjective. Like, how do you know the person that you wind up with is 100% the best possible person that you could ever be with?
Right. You don't.
That's hard.
That's the adventure of life. But it's like, you don't hear from a lot of married men all the positives of marriage.
That's because that's uncool.
I know it's not cool, and
It's
I'm
not
like,
cool to be like, I just love coming home every day to like this, like, and having the security of like, no one's gonna fucking tell their single friend that.
Men don't say that at all. Like it is.
But I'm sure they feel that way. I'm sure a lot of married men
Waiting
are
to hear
very-
from them.
If you were one of Jared's friends,
If you're
and
enjoying marriage,
yeah.
let some guys know. We get so much. It is crazy. Jorge's laughing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm married and I'm enjoying it, Jared.
You're
See?
enjoying it?
I love it.
What's the best part of marriage?
Coming home and just my best friend is always there.
My best friend is always there. What is she
That's
listening?
amazing. I love that. That's beautiful.
I got the teacher's pet.
No, I think a lot of men feel that way. I think they're not telling you that because, like,
Right,
first of all,
'cause
I
I guess-
wouldn't tell you that.
I did just make fun of him.
I mean, yeah, you're a comedian. You're like, oh, who am I going to be like the most intimate with about how much, like, how wonderful
Right.
and in love I am? It's like not going to be you. No offense.
The minute Jorge told me how he felt about marriage, I made fun of him.
I mean, you're in the business of like shitting on things. a
Yeah,
little bit,
especially
so,
nice things. I
yeah.
like hearing about the burnout.
Also, my wife is a teacher, as you know.
Your wife's a teacher? It's the worst case scenario.
And he's loving it.
Maybe I should date a teacher. This is maybe changing my mind.
Maybe. I think that.
What grade?
High school.
High school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
We'll see. You are the teacher's pet. This.
I mean, I think a lot more men feel that way than let on. I just don't think it's very cool to say how much you enjoy.
Right.
kind of
And I guess the things they enjoy are uneventful. Like you just told me you enjoy going home and being there with them.
That's
Like
not a good
that's not
story.
a good story. Yeah. But a nice one. It's not, it's not.
And here's the other thing is like everything is a trade-off. Being single has really negative things about it and some positive things. Being single is like you said, you do whatever you want whenever you want to do it. Being in a relationship is like you have to answer to someone, but you get a constant companionship and you get, someone to go through life with. So,
Right.
What does the Chris Rock say? Like married and bored or single and lonely or something.
Is that what
I think that was his one.
I used to have a good line. I would say, not to besmirch, I would say, if you're single, I envy you on a Saturday night and I pity you on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, but eventually, no one's out on Saturday night.
Right. It's just me with my phone
You and your phone
in a
are
bar,
out Saturday night.
dimly lit bar.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you live in a world where it's probably more fun to be single than the average man.
Right. Well,
because
there's
you're
more
out
thing-
and about.
There's
you
more
know.
for me to do. You know, like
Right.
I like tonight I'll go to do shows and I'm out, but I'm at work
Yeah.
and I'm not out. You know?
Imagine you're a guy with who's just like a lawyer, right? Is it
Some
as
of that lifestyle speaks to me. Like that's a little less exhausting to me. Not to
easy jobs like
easy
teachers and lawyers?
well, show up, you do the job, you go home, you leave it at work. I feel like I'm 24 hours a day with some of this stuff, and that's probably not the way to go either.
I think it's a trade-off, just like anything else. But if you were that guy, let's say you're 37, you're a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
all your most of your friends are probably married. You don't do shows you're not going to the bars every night by yourself.
No. But I mean, going to bars is not like my idea of like the most fun.
Or even out meeting people. Like you have a preset thing that you can go to and be social with people
Right.
that is nightly and it is part of your job. Whereas most people with a normal quote unquote job,
Mm-hmm.
they have to like make an activity.
They got to create their own night. Yeah, and in the nights I create, I'm ready to go home.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
Right.
probably why a lot of people, it's less fun for a lot
Right.
of people to be single at that age. But you've got a better situation for being single than most.
Yeah, it's built-in interactions. Let's do the email. You ready?
Let's do it.
I mean, if you're listening to Sunday Special, these are our bite-sized episodes. Not this week. You're getting
Got a full.
you got Jared on the couch.
Yes.
I'm at Jordana's therapy session.
To be continued.
On the benefits. If you want to sign up for You Up With Benefits, go on Apple Podcasts. You just hit that button. Also, if you search You Up With Benefits on Spotify, you can subscribe there. You ready?
Do you have any shows you want to quickly?
I'm going to be in Miami for Thanksgiving.
Your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday. I'll be in one of my favorite cities. Miami and then Virginia Beach. And the special's coming up. We're a couple weeks away
pumped.
at this point. So
It's gonna be amazing.
yeah, Jerry Seinfeld approved.
Heard it here first.
You want to read it or you want me to?
I could read it.
Go for it.
Hi Jay and Jay. Love what you guys do. I'm a benefit subscriber and I listen to J Train and Oversharing every week.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
Love it. Oversharing is great.
Thank you.
I was listening to you taking time off from Instagram.
Oh yeah, that lasted very, very minimally.
I like it. It's just a good vibe. I mean, like I love hearing the relationship between you and your sister.
It's fun. It's fun to catch up in a way, that's
Do you guys do
recorded.
those on Zoom?
Yeah. She's in Texas.
It sounds like you're in the same room.
Just that sisterly energy.
It really
and great podcast recording from our team.
That's right.
Yeah.
Killing it. No, it really. That was something I was like, I can't believe she's not in the studio together because
The
sometimes
sound quality's good.
the sound quality. Props to the sound quality, but also your relationship with her. Sometimes over Zoom, it's hard. It's hard to like connect.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it. It feels like you guys are in a studio.
Well, I would say most of our relationship is kind of like over the phone or over. Maybe that's why we have a lot of
Fair.
practice with that because she doesn't live here, and even when she did, she lived like on Long Island with her kids, so it's not like we're like seeing each other in person frequently.
Right, and I'm sure a lot, and especially your whole life, she's so much older.
That's true. Yeah, she's like 10 years older, so historically, most of our catch ups are on the phone.
So listen, you've been prepping without even knowing.
Exactly. Preparing for this for years. Okay. Love what you... Okay, we should have said that. I have a new one for you guys that I haven't heard discussed across any of your pods. My boyfriend's friend, let's call him Matt, called me a 3 out of 10 over the weekend, and I am wondering how to move forward.
Such a specific
Number.
fucking...
Yeah.
Oy!
For some...
3 out of 10? Can
Pretty
you
low.
imagine?
Pretty low.
Just calling someone a 3?
I mean,
It's so you've thought
it's
about
almost
that.
worse than a 1.
Right.
Yeah.
1 is thoughtless.
You're not even thinking about it. Right. For some context, I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years. We were both 28 and lived together. My boyfriend met Matt around the same time that we started dating through work, and they were fast friends. I have never really liked Matt, LOL. He's 30, almost 31, and puts a lot of peer pressure on my boyfriend to drink heavily. Matt is one of those guys who makes it his mission to talk to girls anytime he is out and always uses his friends as a home base to come back to if he strikes out, which is 99% of the time. I've never had an issue with him as he normally makes decent conversation and we have some mutual friends. Honestly, I think he's immature and a bit of a loser, but over the years he has been there for my boyfriend, so I appreciated that about him. Obviously, that changed this weekend when he made that comment about me. Over the weekend...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Over the weekend, I decided not to go out, so I picked my boyfriend Matt and another one of their friends up from the bars. That's interesting. Matt only lived a few minutes away and was very drunk, so I offered him a ride. He was just hammered in the... I kind of find it interesting that she went to pick up her boyfriend's friends in the car.
I
without
guess...
her boyfriend.
No, he was there. So I picked up my boyfriend, Matt, and another one.
Okay,
so I'm assuming... The way I would assume this all goes...
Makes a lot more sense.
They're out watching football. Hey, we're going to leave here soon. I'll pick you up.
That makes sense.
I get it. Yeah.
I get that. Without the boyfriend, though, it would be...
Oh, yeah. What is she, fucking Uber?
Matt only lived a few minutes away and was very drunk, so I offered him a ride. He was just hammered in the car, so I tuned him out for most of the 3 minutes of the car ride. When we got to his door, he slurred some words and was on his way. I didn't think much of it up until the next morning when Matt called my boyfriend. My boyfriend ignored the call and then immediately got a call from his other friend, let's call him Jake, who was also in the car with us. Jake said that Matt called that morning saying he didn't remember anything, but he did remember calling me a 3 out of 10 in the car ride home.
He would have gotten away with it.
Right? Asshole.
Oh, browning out sucks so much. When you drink
Really
and you remember one thing, and the one thing you remember is something she didn't even fucking hear.
This friend's also quite the shit star.
Right.
Like, okay.
This guy came in hot. Yeah.
He did remember calling me a 3 out of 10 in the car ride home. He didn't seem very remorseful to Jake and was laughing about the comment. My boyfriend, who was already annoyed with Matt's drunk behavior during the night, was very angry and called Matt right away, telling him he was disrespectful and a bad friend. I do not recall this happening because if it did, I would have honestly kicked Matt out of the car right then and there. Whether or not he said it in the car, he did say it over the phone in the morning and didn't seem to be regretful at all. He asked my boyfriend if he should apologize to me over text, which my boyfriend said, maybe you should do it in person.
Uh-oh.
My boyfriend also told him he turns into a different person when he drinks and that he won't put up with Matt talking shit about me. It was a long conversation between the two of them, so I will spare you. My boyfriend stuck up for me and I felt so awful that this had happened. That's good. Honestly, the comment didn't faze me that much. I can handle knowing that I'm not liked or not found attractive by everyone I meet. I know I'm not a 3 out of 10, LOL. On Jared's code ranking, I give myself an 888.
It's the area code ranking.
Yeah.
So this was something that I was friendly in college with these guys that went to NYU, and they didn't believe, young guys being immature assholes, rating people. But I mean, honestly, this is what everyone's doing now anyways. They're a 10, but
Yes.
is a version of ranking someone and giving a number to a human, which isn't mature at all, but that's what we do. Everyone does.
If you're going to do it behind someone's back.
Right.
That's the respectful thing to do.
So what I always found interesting about these guys that I became friends with when I was abroad that went to NYU is they were like very into this ranking system, but they were like, no, it should be an area code method, face, body, personality.
Okay.
And it was a more well-rounded idea of doing the numbers. So
it is.
It is.
That's fair.
You're including the personality. So this person is writing in that they are the 3 out of 10. They say they would give themselves in the area code method 8 face, 8 body, 8 personality.
I feel like giving yourself all 8s is where you want to be in a confidence level.
I totally agree.
Right?
I totally agree. It is awareness that I am no 10. It is awareness that I'm no, not for everybody.
But I feel good about myself.
But I know I'm a catch. Yeah,
yes.
I agree.
888 is where we all want to be.
Yeah, this is the podcast of 888s.
Yes. I think Matt's comments stemmed from insecurity and potentially jealousy / loneliness, as most of his friends are in committed relationships. But that doesn't...
That is hilarious.
I kind of thought that too.
Really? I mean, I don't know if... Let's keep going.
Okay.
I have some thoughts on that. Everyone's getting married around me. I don't know if it's that.
I mean, he is a compulsive drinker, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And whatever, and with the friends, I don't know, we'll see.
Okay.
But that doesn't excuse what he Excuse what he said. What bothers me more is how blatantly disrespectful he was to my boyfriend. Both me and my boyfriend are confused on how to proceed with this situation. I don't want my boyfriend to lose a good friend, so I'm encouraging him to see how Matt acts in the future. I wanted to say dump him as a friend because good friends are just happy when you are happy, but I feel that may be harsh. I told him I'm not super interested in hanging out with Matt anytime soon. My questions are, how do I handle if/when Matt does apologize to me? And how do I handle hanging out in social settings with him knowing he thinks negatively of me? Am I taking the right approach, encouraging my boyfriend to give him another chance, or should I be encouraging my boyfriend to cut ties? Is there anything more to this comment? Is this really how guys talk about their buddies' girlfriends? I don't love all my friends' significant others, but I would never call them ugly. I'd love your take on this. Thanks for all you do. Sincerely, a 3 out of 10 batch.
Now, I don't think this is about their looks.
Yeah.
Because
To me, that's like, it's more just like the act of,
it's them as a person
Yeah.
to this person.
and less even about what they said drinking, but the fact that they brought it up and thought it was funny the next day is the more annoying part than even having said it.
Right. I guess it's this like open secret that we hate each other.
Right.
And that's annoying because now we hate each other is really on the responsibility of everyone but them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, you know what I
Well,
mean?
it's him
Like
saying it.
Well, yeah, because now it's an open, admitted, well, we've never gotten along and who cares? And it's like, then why are we even hanging out together?
Right.
And I don't know about the way she phrases it doesn't ring male to me because like the idea of like a friend breakup, I've never heard. That's never even crossed my mind. I would just hang out with them less. I wouldn't make an effort.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of I need to end a friendship.
Well, I think men handle that kind of thing very differently than women do.
Very.
Yeah.
The way she even says it in her email of the, I wanted to say dump him as a friend. I can't even relate to that. Like the idea of like there's
Like you
people
would have
that
a conversation being like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Would there be anything that someone could do to necessitate that?
I just wouldn't hang with them anymore. I would just be like, I'm not going to answer
You wouldn't
their
make it a
texts.
conversation though.
No,
Right, yeah.
we're done. Especially with a friend that I met at work 3 years ago. It's not like like this isn't like my childhood friend that's going to go, hey, why aren't you answering my text? Like I would just lose touch with this person.
Right.
The kid probably has a drinking problem. There's probably, from the sounds of this,
Yeah.
like he's acting out when he's drunk.
I think a lot of those guys can sometimes feel when there's like a judgment against them.
Yes.
And so I do think it's sort of like a, you don't take me seriously, so I'm going to like fuck with you a little bit kind of thing.
You're totally right. The you don't take me seriously person is more annoying. Like you're talking about the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he thinks that he senses the judgment on her end where he like can sense that she thinks he's ridiculous. So
Right.
he's like, instead of being like vulnerable and upset about that, he's kind of talking shit about her to like make himself feel better.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why it's like the idea that like all his friends are in relationships. It's not about that. That's not what he's self-conscious about. He's self-conscious that you think he is a loser
Right. And a joke.
and a joke.
Right.
Right. And he's coming back with I don't know if he's meant to call you in the morning. I think he woke up being like, fuck, I think I called her a 3 out of 10. I need to like clean this up a bit. So he did the calling and laughing. Oh, I might have said to try and say, oh, we were all drunk, whatever. I think that was his way of trying to like fix this, as stupid as that sounds.
That's very funny because he could have just said nothing and it would have
Well,
disappeared.
he did. Well, then it would have been on his mind. Did I say it or not?
Right.
So that's where the drinking comes in. And I mean, I relate to that a little bit, waking up a little hungover and being like, what text did I send last night?
Yeah.
What did I say to who? And what was I?
Yeah,
a
we all
dick?
have that.
We all have that. Right. Yeah.
Sunday scary is
Yeah.
part of
The
it.
scaries, the
Yeah.
weirds.
Yeah.
The,
So I guess for her question,
mhm.
how do I handle if or when Matt does apologize to me?
I also have a story about this.
Okay.
I don't think you're never going to be the same with this guy. It would
Yeah,
it would
it's gonna
take
be
a
weird.
crazy reversal of people. I once used to do a joke on stage about fixing up my friends. And and the joke, not really well done, was like, when men fix up two people, we're just like, we just to fix up two people who look alike to us. Like that was like the joke. Like,
Right.
you know, I
Like
think
they're on a similar.
and I'd be like, you know, I'm just looking at them like, you're a 6, go make some 5s. That was like the joke.
Okay.
And I remember the couple heard it. And
That you said set up.
I did this joke in front of them.
Okay.
And I really do think it was taken to heart that I thought they were, but I had to do 6 for the comedic effect. It wasn't because I thought
Right.
less.
It's funnier that way.
Right.
Yeah.
If I said you're a 10, you're a 10, that's not a good joke.
Yeah.
You're a 6, go make some 5s. That was the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Never, I don't think she has come to a show since.
Oh wow.
Like I really do. These things, it will ruin how you're. I don't think you can ever forget 3 out of. I don't think this person could ever forget 3 out of 10.
Well, you can't forget anything that someone tells you that feels like something that they really think of you. You're like, oh, you've said what you really think of me, or like you've said that you think of me negatively,
Right.
and now I know. So I
And
can't
you've
not.
never come to me and had this conversation with me straight up and been like, let's talk this out and fix it.
Right. It would depend
Because
on
that doesn't really
yeah.
happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that the how she would move forward would depend on the apology. Because I think you could move forward. Let's say he came over or texted her or whatever and was like, hey, I was a drunk idiot last night. I don't even remember what I said, but I think I said something like really messed up. I called you a 3 out of 10 or something. I don't think that way. I was being really stupid. And I didn't mean that at all. If it were me, I'd be like, all right.
That apology wouldn't do anything. You think that would help?
I'd be like, all right, fine. Like,
Right.
whatever. I'd be like, I know this about you. I'm not gonna like sit here and keep thinking about it.
But that's the thing. Like, this isn't about the 3 out of 10. This is about, I know you don't like me,
yeah,
and I don't like you.
right. But that's not gonna change.
Well, I think that conversation changes it more than, I'm sorry about the 3 out of 10 thing.
Okay.
Right? Like, to me, that's the symptom, not the disease. You know, like
You think he would talk about how that you don't think he was just being dumb?
I think he knows she doesn't like him.
You think you'd have to say that? You're saying.
Yeah. And I think unless that's said, then your reaction is what I would do. Yeah, okay, fuck
Right.
it. But if you really wanted to get to the bottom of this, which I don't even think she has to. Like,
Yeah,
to
it doesn't
me,
matter to her.
well, I'm saying to, like, if I said to my boyfriend, like, yeah, I'm not going to hang out with him anymore. If you hang out with him, cool. I'm
That's
not going to
what
be
I would do.
offended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I would play it. I would
Yeah.
go, you can go with your friend. I don't give a shit, but I'm just not going to, like, make time out of my day for someone that I don't enjoy hanging with.
Right.
And that would be the end of it for me. I wouldn't get offended if my girlfriend still hung out with her work friend.
Right.
I'd just be like, yeah, I'm just not going to go to those events. But I would say that if my girlfriend or her boyfriend is like, I need these two parties to work, the only way it could work is if they literally told each other why they hate each other.
Right. The apology would have to be like, I'm sorry I said that. I have this feeling. I get insecure because I feel like you don't like me.
Right.
And so I kind of lashed out. And
Right.
That's the reason. That's like the real vulnerable conversation.
Right. And then she would have to say, well, here's what you do. You encourage my boyfriend to drink and it makes me angry because he's a bad person when he's around you. He's not the person I like when he's around you.
Right.
And then you're like, fuck. Like, at this point you go, do I want to go to couples therapy with my boyfriend's friend that he kind of likes?
Well, if you want to work it out, then like if like you want to, if he wants to see you, like I don't think that conversation needs to be that long and terrible. Let's say it's a miscommunication where she's like, I don't hate you. I just don't really like think. I kind of think you drink a lot and sometimes you say like kind of annoying shit, and I find it to be a little bothersome.
And then he would go, I do that because I never got along with my family. Like it becomes this whole other thing.
I mean, at least it's like it's out in a real way then.
Right. And I guess the point is they don't have a real relationship, obviously.
Right.
Her and him have no relationship. It's very just because of this boyfriend who, I don't know what the boyfriend's relationship with him
Right.
is.
Well,
even via the email.
Well, her second question is, am I taking the right approach, encouraging my boyfriend to give him another chance, or should I be encouraging my boyfriend to cut ties? I would just be like, do whatever the hell you want. Here's what I'm doing.
Right.
Here's what you should do. I don't really care. Like,
Yeah, no,
like, I wouldn't be encouraging him one way or the other. Like, let him decide. He's the one who has to hang out with him.
Right. I am not going to hang out with,
Right.
Trey,
Yeah.
Mr. 3. I'm not hanging with Larry Bird anymore. I'm done. I'm done with, this guy. I'm not doing, if he wants to come to me, I'm here. He's got my number. He knows where to find me. I'm going to be respectful, but I'm not going to make a.
Right.
I think what you're saying is totally.
He's banned from Uber Pool. My Uber Pool.
If I pick him up again, yeah, I think she has to live in the land of me. Self-preservation is the move, and then your boyfriend's going to do what your boyfriend does. But here's the thing: like, you guys get married, you guys move. I don't think this guy's going to be around as much.
Yeah. And I wouldn't obviously, it doesn't sound like she's really taking the 3 out of 10 thing to heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I wouldn't really put any stock in that. I think that's just something he's saying because, like, he's trying to be a dick.
Right. And if someone doesn't like me for 3 years, that brings down their points on, it doesn't, I agree. She doesn't sound like she's taking it to heart. But if I knew someone hated me, I'd be like, yeah, they're a fucking 5. Fuck them.
Right.
Make up some arbitrary number. Yeah.
Yeah. Which sounds like she's kind of doing. I think it's more, I agree. It's more about the boyfriend's relationship with him. And like, if it bothers him enough to not hang out with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely would like it if he didn't, especially if I didn't really like him that much. Cause I'd be like, I would feel stood up for too.
Right.
But it sounds like he already did that. It sounds like he was like very much on her side.
There's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
And if you got date night, you ain't hanging out with, the asshole anymore.
Right.
So
there we go.
We solved dating again.
We did it.
We did it.
We'll be back on Wednesday.
Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.